Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 3, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow is here. What an episode title, but what a pretty good episode too. Pop Tot, what did you think of this time traveling episode?
Well, I was actually pleasantly surprised with it. I always enjoy these kind of episodes.
Same.
This one, because it's centered around La'an, Noonien Singh, it kind of reminds me of the 7 of 9 episode in Voyager, Relativity, where she's been tasked by, the time, I don't know, whatever the Starfleet time force is, and she's walking, she finds this guy, he just comes out of nowhere, he gives her a device, she activates it somehow, and she finds herself in another universe, and this one, Pike's not captain, but Kirk is captain.
Yep.
What a twist!
Played by the actor who played Kirk in last season.
Quite the ship you got here. He's jealous.
And although we had issues with that actor's portrayal of Kirk last year,
I'm saying caution means you're not going to put everything you have into the punch. And that's a good way to lose.
I actually liked him better this year. I think he had more time to kind of get into the character. And I like Chris Pine, not parody it. People tend to, when they want to play Kirk, they want to parody William Shatner.
Yeah, they do.
She's trying to convince him that she's not from their universe. The Federation doesn't exist.
I am a captain in the United Earth Fleet.
So him and her getting into arguing, and they hit the device, and voila, they're in mid 21st century Toronto.
Yeah.
Which, side note, is one of my favorite cities of all time. I've been to Toronto. I was legitimately in that area right there where they were standing. So it's the fish out of the water thing. They're trying to figure out why they're there. There's some sort of time excursion that's changed time. They have to figure it out what it was. Although I think they could have sat down on a bench and said, okay, let's go through date by date and figure out how your time's different.
Yeah.
But your timeline isn't supposed to exist.
According to who? My best option is to do absolutely nothing.
They don't have no money. They're in Starfleet uniforms. So Kirk sees people playing chess, figures out how to win a bunch of money from them.
You know what? Give me a few minutes.
It was fun. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was trying to show that, Kirk was intelligent. He was playing a kid's game, 2-dimensional chess, not 3-dimensional. I don't know how much that hotel they ended up in would cost, but he must have scammed like maybe 3 dozen things then, because they had a lot of money. There's a bridge explosion, and they kind of start piecing together that with the help of another person, that there's Romulans there trying to change time. I really enjoyed the chemistry between the two actors and the two characters, and giving La'an kind of her own episode, and getting her to have more of a emotional side instead of the constant you're running from the Noonien Singh. There was even a great scene at the end where she basically has to protect. She finds out that Romulans are going to kill Khan as a kid to change, so there's no eugenics war, there's no change in how Earth does stuff, there's no Federation. So she actually protects him, and then she sits down on the bed next to him.
But you are right where you need to be.
And I'm like, man, that kid's going to grow up to be Ricardo Montalban one day.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee.
The emotional core of the episode works more for me than the logical core. I think there's some things that I either didn't understand or didn't really care for. I think the whole Romulans going back in time thing was a little and then the woman that chooses to help them that they kind of carelessly go with was kind of stupid on both their parts. I guess Miss Tot pointed out that she's an actress from Rain, I believe is what the show is. But I really enjoyed the chemistry between the two.
Never seen a revolving door before.
I'm from space.
And again, like you pointed out, seeing Paul Wesley again as Kirk, I was not a fan of him at all. And even though there's something about his gravitas, his stature that's a little off to me, doesn't fill out the uniform right. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's kind of silly. I always liked these episodes. You get them in Voyager, we had them in Enterprise and all that, where the fish out of water and what's different from my time and your time, and it's the past time. I always liked those.
Well, Catherine, you got us home.
Right place, wrong time.
The biggest hit for me was him calling the Romulans bluff at the end and her shooting him.
John.
Try me. Oh, hell no!
It just that was like,
yeah,
I would have rather like him try to fight her and do the two-handed double fist on her back like Kirk always did,
Honestly, I think they could have done that entire episode without actually having that actress in there, and I think she's fine, but it just creates a lot of plot issues, like where you pointed that out, and then they went into the past, Lon specifically, knowing that something was wrong.
My timeline doesn't exist unless I can stop this attack.
And there was somebody trying to do something. So trusting anybody didn't really make any sense to me. It's like, why would you trust anybody, specifically somebody who seems very eager to help you, to the point she was literally following you after, we have to point out, the Dodge commercial chase, by the way.
I think it would have Star Trek Strange New Worlds, brought to you by Dodge Challenger.
Yeah,
the 2023 Dodge Challenger.
I just pictured the Sam Elliott doing the commercial in his voice, and it's just like, oh my God, what are we doing, guys?
Shift every course. Defy the elements and bring the world to its knees. Engineered to move heaven and earth. The road doesn't end here.
There was a conversation between them about, whose reality was the right reality.
Yeah, which I really liked.
I'm sorry, but your timeline isn't supposed to exist.
According to who? My best option is to do absolutely nothing.
And I that at the end, instead of having this face off with the Romulan double agent or the Romulan just as a human, he could have had that choice to do something or not do something, and him, by doing it, all of a sudden he starts to disappear, and they touch, and they, he kind of just, that would have been a more touching and heroic end than him going, "You're not going to shoot me," and she shoots him, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, they kind of, because they build up that entire part, which I like, that emotional core of, how do you know mine's not real and yours is not? And she's like, well, mine's is better because...
But after first contact with the Vulcans, our Earth became a paradise. The Federation and Starfleet are forces for good, not just on Earth, but throughout the entire galaxy.
And I like that, he was like, wait, Sam's alive?
Sam's alive?
And so it kind of built that up, but then you rob that emotional satisfaction of his character when he gets shot, because he didn't really know he was going to get shot.
Try me.
I was wrong! Blow the bridge! Blow the fucking bridge!
They're at the Noonien Singh Institute, and you find out that her ancestors, was probably this rich, wealthy, that was doing stuff like cold fusion and genetic testing, and how they created Khan. We do know for certain now in Star Trek canon that Canada that's to blame for Khan.
Yeah.
So,
damn Canadians.
Damn Canadians.
Yeah. Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I really did enjoy the episode. It was very, I know you don't like this term, it was entertaining.
Since Pythagoras made the crap up.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was great to get Lon out of her typical cold and just give her some character development and show some emotion. And she actually did the last final scenes in her cabin.
Yeah.
Where she encounters someone from the Time folks. Time Force. She basically tells her she can't tell anybody anything, and
any of what you experienced, even with Captain Pike or anyone else from this time.
I like that the season's taking time to give each actor, each character their time to shine, and that was Lon's, and she did a really great job.
Before we recorded, you had mentioned, I'm going to use your analogy, that this season so far is kind of like a steak without the seasoning. It's a good steak without the seasoning. It's a good steak without the seasoning, and I figured out why.
Backed up with salt. Bland. No salt. Unbelievable. It does need some salt on there. Not bad. It needs more salt.
And I know why, and it's because there is a monumental lack of Captain Pike. Anson Mount is, like all series, the captain is the anchor to the show. Right. And yes, there's single side character missions, there always has been, but I've never seen a Star Trek series start off a season with 3 episodes in, and Pike has had like maybe 6 minutes.
Riley, do you consent to Captain Battelle?
I think the analogy works best in just saying, I think the ideas are good, but I think the execution's missing something. It's not bad. I don't think this is bad, but it's missing that little pinch of salt, a little extra flavor for the steak.
I don't know if I have one scene that was just like, oh my God, this is a great scene.
Yeah, same.
I really thought the episode overall was good. It had good rhythm to it, good storytelling. I agree with you. I don't know that Romulan posing as a human needed to be in there. Men in suits, men in black that had the van. They could have been the bad guys for all we know.
Overall, what would you rate Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow?
I would give it a B+ and a B+ and an A-.
An unmitigated disaster.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? It took me a little too long to get.
Oh, yeah, took a second.
That we're gonna get railed for that horrible joke, but that's fine.
Well, it's a dad joke. So.
I think I'm a B. I think I'm a B, a strong
B. Yeah, that's fair.
I think there's, like you talked about, there's some really cool stuff and the emotional stuff and seeing them together, and that chemistry is really strong. There's some little things here that I'm like, it could be better without that. You know, we maybe didn't need this. And yeah, not every episode needs to be a home run, because not every episode of, TNG was a home run. You can get a solid single.
I am your superior officer, and I am ordering you to have a hot dog.
It made me think the TNG, which episode was the one I always skip because it was just a filler episode, was the one where they had the gods take over and they're all wearing masks and.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
10 Forward was like a palace or something. Yeah. It was really an odd episode.
Yeah. I think this is definitely a notch up of a filler, but I can see what you're saying there. But
okay.
As usual, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. Please leave your comments down below. We love to read them, and it means the world to us. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Tots.